Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a one brand tutorial on Wet n Wild. I'm super excited to do this particular one brand tutorial because Wet n Wild is really honestly one of my favorite drugstore affordable, really in general, makeup brands. So this should be fun. So if you're interested to see the look that I'll be creating and some of the products that I will be using, then keep on watching. So I am going to apply a tiny bit more of this Garnier Skin Active Clearly Brighter. I know this is not a Wet n Wild product, but I just want to add a tiny bit more of this just because it has some SPF in it, and it is like the sunniest day ever. It's like 26 degrees out. It's just like literally the nicest day. I'm in such a good mood. So just going to put a little bit of this for some extra SPF. So for some reason I thought this had SPF in it, but it does not, so that is fine. It's good that I put on that moisturizer. I may need to add a few of those lightening shade adjusting drops because this might still be a little bit too dark for me. Now I'm not going to be applying like too much of this because it is such a nice day. I really don't like my makeup to be really heavy. And I'm just going to add a little bit of these shade adjusting drops, like a drop here, and blending that all out with a brush. Oh my god, I forgot to put on the primer. Alright, so I can't prime my face now. Alright, so this was the primer I was supposed to use and forgot, the Wet n Wild Cover All Primer. This is actually an amazing primer. I do use this on a regular basis. And this is what I'm about to put on. This is their Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. And I'm telling you, this is my go-to eyeshadow primer. This stuff is so good. It doesn't really have much color to it. I mean, it is colored, but when you put it on your eye, it's not like there's a lot of color to kind of hide any redness or discoloration. But the product itself works so well. I have extremely oily eyelids. And this was the first primer actually. Actually, Hard Candy has a good one as well. Sorry, I'm like giving you guys the finger. Considering how affordable, I mean, this stuff works amazing. My eyeshadow is locked in place all day long. The palette that we're going to be using today is the Au Naturel palette. So I'm going to be starting off with the lightest shade and just setting all of that. And I apologize, I just used these Wet n Wild brushes yesterday, so they are not super clean. So I'm just going in with that light shade and setting all of that. I think what I'm going to do is start in my crease with this shade here. Now I did use this eyeshadow palette actually in a recent video. I think it was a full face of first impressions, and I really liked it. I really love how Wet n Wild is so affordable, but I don't feel like the quality of the products is sacrificed in any way. And a huge bonus, Wet n Wild is actually I don't want to lie, but I am pretty sure every one of their products is cruelty-free. Like this one, for example, says right on it cruelty-free, and so does their foundation. I'm pretty sure all of their products are, and I just think that that is amazing. I wish that all makeup companies would be cruelty-free. I think I'm going to go into this sparkly sort of dark purple, and I'm going to put that in the inner corner and the outer corner, but leave the center bare. And I'm tapping a lot of this off because, again, I don't want it to be too much. Oh my gosh, they're so pigmented. Oh my. I'm going to have to blend that out a little better with a clean brush. There, so basically I want almost, see how there's like almost a stripe down the center of both my lid and the upper portion where there is no product, so that is what I want. Before I go ahead with anything else, I am just going to take a clean, fluffy brush and blend out the edges a little bit here. Okay, and now in the center where that line is, where we did not put any of that darker shadow, I think I'm going to take this really shimmery light pink shade and just kind of fill that all in. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. You can see that there's almost like a little, it looks almost like shinier. It just adds a little light to the center of the eye. I think I'm just going to try to pack a tiny bit more on the actual lid there, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead, go off camera and do my brows, but I will show you that I am using the Wet n Wild Color Icon Brow Pencil. Now this is in the shade Blonde. I've never used this before, so I'm hoping it's not too warm, but we're going to go with it anyways. I just don't want to take, you know, an extra 5 minutes in the video to do my brows, so I'm going to do this off camera and then come back. Okay, so I just did my brows, and to be honest, I don't hate the product at all. The color is a tiny bit warmer than what I would typically go for, but I still like it. It is very soft though, like barely any pressure, and there's a lot of pigment there, which is good, but it can also be a little bit of a negative as well, especially with a day like today where it is going to be so hot and humid. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious about touching that area because I feel like, you know, the tiniest touch, it's going to smudge and not look so pretty. Now before I go ahead with anything else with the eyes, something that is driving me insane is not having any concealer on. And guys, I have a little confession. I did not realize until right now that I actually don't have the Wet n Wild concealer. So I'm going to have to go ahead and use a different one. Please forgive me. But I promise everything else in this video is just Wet n Wild. I do want that concealer. I was looking for it, but I completely forgot that I didn't end up getting it. They just don't have it here anymore. So I am going to go ahead with the Maybelline Dream Lumi. This is kind of my go-to concealer in the summertime. Unless it's like a night out, I will go with my Fit Me, but this is just super lightweight but still very brightening. For this, I'm actually going to go ahead and blend out with my Real Techniques sponge. Okay, and now that that is all blended out and I was able to also like kind of sharpen up that eyeshadow a little bit, I am going to go and now set my face because we have not even done that yet. So I'm going to be using the Mega Glow Contouring Palette. You guys know if you've been watching my channel for a while, this is like my go-to palette. And I'm going to be setting my under eyes with this banana shade. And for the rest of my face, I'm going to be setting it with the Photo Focus Pressed Powder in the shade Natural Buff. This is, again, one of my go-tos for setting my foundations. So moving back to the eyes now, I'm going to go back into this palette. I do have another eyeshadow palette from them, the Comfort Zone eyeshadow palette. I just find with that palette, there's a lot of fallout. So this is, and because this is new to me, I'm a little bit more excited to use this one. So what I'm actually going to do is go in with the exact same shades and do the exact same thing we did on the top of the lid on the bottom. So again, I'm going to go in with that sparkly kind of purple shade on the outer corner and the inner corner, but in the very center, I'm going to go in with that very nice shimmery pink. So because I went in with this angled brush, which has a much sharper tip, you can see how much darker and more pigmented that color went on. So I am just going to go ahead with my brush and kind of blend that out until it matches the top a little bit better. So I got that blended out a little bit. I think once I do my mascara and stuff, I'll be able to fix anything else. So for now, I'm just going to keep moving along. And I'm going to go ahead with that shimmery shade and put that in the center. So I'm just taking my fluffy powder brush and just kind of sweeping anything that may have fallen. And now we will go ahead and do our mascara. So I actually am pretty excited to try this. I've never used a Wet n Wild mascara. This is their Lash Renegade mascara, and the packaging is so cool. And the wand reminded me on the photo of the CoverGirl Total Tea. So it's got that cool little ball at the end, which I love for my small lashes in my inner corner. So okay, so the mascara is done, and I actually do really like that wand. The only thing I would say is I wish the actual bristles went all the way to this sort of ball, because they're so stubby and short that there's kind of like a gap there where there's pretty much no bristles. So that was a little bit awkward, but it applied very well, and I'm happy with the way it came out. The only thing I will say is I was going to skip eyeliner, but I feel like I'm kind of lacking some lashes. So I do have a Wet n Wild Mega Glow liner that I have not tried out yet, but this is in dark brown. So I'm hoping that it looks okay. I would typically use like a black liner with a look like this, but we're just going to go for it. So I felt like I had a lot of control, but I don't know what it is. Like my wing sucks and I can't seem to get it pointed very well. But the liner itself, I don't mind, and it's actually such a dark brown that it looks black to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the other eye. So this way is a lot better. I don't even know how to go about fixing that one. I'm going to leave it for now. I'm kind of bothered by, this looks really patchy over here, the eyeshadow, but because that liner is now wet, I'm just going to go ahead and we'll do our blush and our highlight. So for blush, I'm really excited. I think I talk about these a lot, but I just wanted to mention them again. These Wet n Wild Mega Glow blushes are literally the absolute best blushes I've ever tried from the drugstore, and I cannot recommend them enough. I have Pearlescent Pink here, apricot in the middle here, and rosé champagne here. This is my absolute favorite, but I have been using this quite a bit on my channel. So I think for today I'm going to go in with this pearlescent pink. It is such a gorgeous pink. It is so shimmery, but it doesn't come across chunky and glittery. It just gives your cheek a nice glow. So I'm going to go ahead with my blush brush here. Now these are very pigmented, so you're going to want to tap off your brush. Do you guys see how like it gives your cheek a bit of a sheen? I just absolutely love these. They blend out so well. I did have another shade as well. I think it was Mellow Wine. It's a darker, more matte blush, but again, it was beautiful. I actually broke it, and that's why I don't have it. And now for highlights, we're going to go in with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Precious Petals. I haven't used this a whole lot either. It's a little bit more gold than what I would typically go for, and it is extremely pigmented. So we're going to dip into this. And a little bit down the center of the nose. Tiny bit on the Cupid's bow. And I think I'm actually going to use this to highlight my inner corner and my brow bone as well. So I'm going to just try to see if I can blend out this a little bit because it's driving me crazy. I don't know if it's that shadow that's patchy because I feel like this eye looks okay. So I just went in with my finger just to intensify that sort of like line of lighter color, and it made it so much more pigmented, so I am going to do that on the other side as well. I feel like this tutorial is all over the place, guys. I apologize. So I think the next thing I want to do is the lips. So I'm really excited because I've not used this product yet either. It's somewhat new, but I'm pretty behind on the whole bandwagon here. So this is their Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Matte Lipstick, and this one that I got is in the shade Give Me Mocha. So I was hoping to get more of like a summery shade, but I'm telling you guys, the Walmart's by me, the selection is absolutely horrible. Everything's always sold out, but I do still like the shade. It's more of like a darker, sort of mauvey, almost like a nude. So we'll go ahead and try this out. Okay guys, so I do like this color. I will say that I found this lipstick a teeny bit patchy. When I went over certain areas, it almost like wiped the product off, and I think there's a little bit of a defect in my brush because there's like one little spot that, for example, when I was doing my upper lid, it like created a line above it. So I had to spend a little bit of time fixing that up, but overall I do like it. It is very matte, so it feels very dry, almost tight, but that's no different than the average matte liquid lipstick. So I do really like it, and I mean for the price, again, like, this is amazing. So the last thing I'm going to do, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, I wasn't sure how my tan was going to look, but I do want to bronze out my face just a bit. So I'm going to go back into this Mega Glow contouring palette, dip into this shade. This is extremely pigmented and a little bit dark for me, so I'm just tapping a lot off. I'm just going to go around my hairline, tiny bit under that blush, around the jaw. And there we have it. So this is the completed look. I hope you guys liked it. This was all Wet n Wild products except for that concealer, which again, guys, I do apologize. I want to get my hands on that Photo Focus concealer. I just can't seem to be able to. So overall, I'm happy with all the products. My eyeshadow is a little bit blotchy here, and I don't know if that's the shadow or the way I blended it out. But other than that, I'm really happy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you guys like these one brand tutorials by giving me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave if you haven't already. So thank you guys so much again, as always, for watching and for all of your support. And I'll see you guys in my next video.